Hey everybody, see that guy behind me? That's what we're talking about today on our Thursday Thoughts. Let's get started. Okay, so Cody Wade with Downtown Auto Group here. We're talking on Thursday Thoughts, which is where we take something off our lot and we give you our pros or cons on the vehicle. I want to start off, this is the 2018 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited. It is an awesome vehicle and so much different than any Jeep. If you've driven older Jeeps, this thing's a lot different. So I want to start off on this front end here and what's different about that. As you can see, they kind of changed up the whole headlight assembly. As far as these guys, they're the same, shape and everything that you're used to seeing with Jeep. But it is a new LED light with a new LED configuration, and they just have a really nice look on them. And then on these fenders, you can see they actually added the light within the fender, full electronic, your blinkers, everything through this. So it does look awesome. The other part I want to mention is I think on all the trail rated, don't quote me on this, they have these new red hooks. The Grand Cherokees, the regular Cherokees do have it. It's just a really nice look, especially with this black Jeep. They changed the way the hood looks, and they added these what look like intakes, or as far as, to allow airflow through. I popped the hood a second ago. They don't really have a lot of function, but they do look really nice, so I do like that. The other thing I want to note is behind these fenders, they have this plastic, what looks like a vent. I don't know if it actually helps with airflow. I didn't dive in and look, but it does look really nice on the exterior. And then the other thing is these wheels. They just say Jeep to me. I love the rim and then these nice big tires that go on it. They just look awesome. This does have its own four-wheel drive system that makes driving this thing a lot of fun. And what's different about if you've driven old Jeeps, I grew up in Jeeps. My dad loved Jeeps. I think the last year he had was a 97. Highway driving, that is a rough ride. This thing is a cakewalk. This thing is super comfortable to drive. The 3.6 is very responsive in it. I'm way more responsive than the older ones. And it's just a really comfortable ride. So you can see the back of the Jeep is different as well. These new taillights look really awesome. The red tow hooks are really cool. And lastly, I don't know if this is a new feature on this model in particular or just a newer feature on Jeeps, but on the back window here, there is a rear wiper behind the spare tire. The one con I do have about this, and I've seen this on other Jeep videos and other people reviewing Jeeps, and I kind of have to agree, is they put your backup camera inside of the spare tire mount or holder or whatever you want to call it. And it's really in a bad position. A lot of manufacturers try to hide the camera so that it can't get dirty and things like that. I took it through the car wash once, and as you can see, it had actually recently just snowed. It's dirty. I mean, I just took it through the car wash and it's already, it's dirty. It has stuff get kicked up onto the rear backup camera. So it's just, I don't like the placement of that. But overall, the back of this Jeep looks awesome. So on the interior of this Jeep, I'm just glad it's something I'm able to fully stand up outside so you can really see the interior. It's a lot different. This is probably the biggest changes that came to the Jeep lineup as far as how they changed the dash, the seats, and kind of the controls within the Jeep. So a few things that I really love about the Jeep is they added a full-on touchscreen. They added a lot of controls in your cluster here as far as heated steering wheel, heated seats, and a lot of different features that are really nice. And you see typically in a lot of modern SUVs. I know on the base model of the 2017 Wrangler, it was really basic compared to its counterparts, especially in its price range. And, a lot of people buy Jeeps because they love Jeeps, but they kind of stepped up their game as far as modernizing what the Wrangler looked like. So you do have full steering wheel controls, hands-free calling and everything on here. The back has volume and track control. You do have a full LCD screen within the instrument cluster that gives you vehicle data, your gas, what's left in the tank, and some other things there. You have, as I mentioned, you have a lot of climate control options. You still have the window control within the center panel of the console. And then they changed the shifter, which is another little quirk and feature of the Jeep that I love. They added that Willys Jeep on top of the shifter, which is really cool. And the trigger that you pull, or the switch that you pull in to shift into a new gear, is painted red, which just adds to it. And as you can see with this interior, they changed up this dash so much. They gave it this nice new red color, and it's, I believe there are some different interior options that you can get as far as if you don't like this red color. But they did add some color in here. These top panels, if you haven't driven a Jeep in a long time, they do have some paneling on them to help reduce sound. along with they have really quick release clips that allow you to get this top off within minutes. I remember pulling off a 97 or 87 top, and it was work, especially if you had a hard top. You had to get a couple people, lift it off, set it somewhere safe, get your soft top, and it took forever to put on. This thing is so quick and easy. It's awesome. Even the 17 Jeep, you know, I rented one down in Florida and we took the top off. It took minutes. It took me minutes while, you know, the people I was with were in a store, and I just popped it off and we enjoyed, you know, the top coming down. So if you haven't driven a Jeep in a while, come check out this new system for the roof. It's just really easy to use, really simple. Okay, so the other thing I want to know, with this infotainment system and the brand new touchscreen and all of the sweet controls you get in modern SUVs, they have a media port. So you get USB, you have a 12-volt outlet. You have a lot of different options now as far as if you want to listen to your own music, play your own media, however you want to do that. The one thing I want to know is these are cloth seats inside of the Jeep, and they have really nice red stitching to go with the red and black theme of this Jeep, along with the Rubicon on the backrest. So this Jeep is awesome. They did switch up the door handles as far as having they feel like, you know, they kind of feel like a big, robust off-road vehicle door handle. And there are just a lot of quirks that they added into this Jeep to really, one, modernize it, and two, keep it the same as far as, you know, Jeep's always been the pioneer of off-roading and rock climbing and all of those things. And they've tried to give you the best of both worlds. So I really love this interior for that reason. The one thing that I'm not a massive fan of, I don't know how they would configure this differently. I don't like if you've watched these, you know I'm not a big fan of tons of buttons. Like the window switches are there, all your climate control options are there. You know, I'm wondering if they could have put some of that into the infotainment system that limits how many buttons are on the dash. Other than that, I love this interior. I love that they modernized it. I love that they made it their own at the same time. It's really comfortable to drive. And as I said, if you've driven older Jeeps, you knew that they were slow. You knew that they were uncomfortable on the highway. This thing kind of changes the game in that aspect, is that it does pick up some speed with that V6. Really, the suspension is really comfortable on the highway. I don't know how it is off-road. I'm not taking this off-road. On the highway, it's really comfortable. It's not what you'd expect when you sit into a Wrangler and you start driving it. You're going to get out on the highway and say, yeah, this thing's pretty comfortable. Okay, so that's it with this 2018 Wrangler Unlimited, 2019's Motor Trend SUV of the year at Downtown Auto Group. Come see this thing. We have it at 270 East Main Street in Vernal. You can find us wherever you're spending your time online: YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, our website at www.buydowntown.com. Come take a look at it. Come test drive this thing. It is an awesome ride. Even if you haven't had a Jeep in 30 years, come see this thing. It is showing where Jeep was to where Jeep is now, and it is an awesome vehicle. Thanks for watching.